Good morning, everybody. I hope your evening was a great one. It was still cold here in Wichita. We went out walking. It was about 25 degrees last night. Of course, Henry loved it. A different gear when it's below 40 and then another one when it's below 20. So we didn't get to high gear, but we were pretty close. Well, the stock markets have rallied overnight and the financials are lower. That's the way it works, the inverse relationship. Australia, surprisingly, their interest rates last night. India lowered their banking reserve requirements. There's speculation that China will have to do some easing in their banking system. And crude oil has rallied. Crude oil has rallied because of the rapid fall in rig rates, which means that reserves will not be replaced. The price of oil has to go up. And again, we've talked about it for the last couple of weeks that majors do not do drilling projects unless they pencil out at 40 to 50 bucks a barrel. 50 bucks is the high end of the range, 40 bucks is the low end of the range. And when we get down in that area, then you're talking about replacement costs, and it's really hard to take the market much lower. The next shoe to drop in the crude oil market would be, everybody decides that the United States and China's growth won't keep the rest of the world out of a recession. So we're here where production costs are. Crude oil prices going lower, started the selling in the stock market. Crude oil prices coming back up would be supportive. So every market, stock market around the globe, rallied except for Japan's, following the United States lead from yesterday. The United States Dow was up 196, so pretty good gains in China, Hong Kong, Germany, France, and the UK. So if the stock market continues to rally today, some momentum to the upside, will probably go a little lower, but we're not going to break. Australia cutting interest rates is not bullish news for the world's economies. Every time they come out and a bank does this, it's showing economic weakness. It's not showing strength. The Greek trial balloons are being floated right now. We talked about that there would be extension of that, and at some point there would be repudiation of debt. The bad sovereign debt on the bank's books in Europe is north of $1 trillion, and that's going to be written down and absorbed by the taxpayers, just like it is in the United States, just like it is in every economy around the globe. And with our banking laws and with the relationship with the Fed, you get caught cheating, you pay your fines, nobody goes to jail, you still get your bonuses, and everybody gets on down the road. So the system is protecting itself and its ability to continue to do business as usual. Now, if we fold all three of those distributions together and we go to the longest line of letters and we left click, you can see that a distribution lower started last night right out of this high volume area. So we've gone below the breakout points and the last rotate down before the market rallied up, the other was at 130.13. So we probably have pretty good support in this 8 to 12 area, keying off of this volume, most in the market's memory. This London low at 8, and in the last rotate down at 13. So 13 all the way down to 6.5 is probably pretty good support. And obviously, you got to get through 16 to do that. Today's news: factory orders minus 2% can influence the trading. Then auto and truck sales yesterday. Econo Day was carrying it at 16.6. Forex this morning is carrying it at 17.0. Last month it was 16.9. So the automobile sector shored up by subprime loans and automobiles approaching $1 billion there too. is supporting the automobile industry right now. So we have a B, we have a possibility of a new distribution lower. We're going to put our first buy, let it go a little bit lower, 13 to 9. Obviously, we got to get through 16 to get there. And then 1 to 5. 130 even is a pretty round number, and it could hold. If the stock market sells, we do not want to be short the financials. The stock market rallies, the short side's the way to play it up to a point. We're at 19.5, 20, 23.5, 25.5, 28. So 23 to 27, sell 1, and then we're back to our 31, 31.03 for sell 2. Okay, once again, in these currency spreads, the Swiss National Bank overnight came out and changed the whole game. Australia's bank cut their interest rates. Only 1/3 of the pundits saw that coming. Banks, currencies, governments can change overnight. The risk associated in trading those is extremely high. You have to keep that in mind when you trade those. It's also very, very rewarding. But the risk and the reward do tend to go hand in hand. My point is that wheat, the grains, everything else will change directions gradually. It won't be done in one fell swoop. Crude oil, war breaks out in the Middle East. You could wake up to that. That would be one where you could get your head handed to you. Central bank intervention in the financials, etc. So you have to be very, very careful when you get out and you play these. But the worst one's going, and where you can get blindsided with G20 out there, is in the currencies. And probably the best way to handle that and look at it is say, how big a loss can I take? At one point, the Swiss franc losses were $30,000 contract. It settled down into the $17,000, $18,000, $19,000 range. That's a huge loss. So to take an overnight position in currencies and not lose more than about 20% of your account, you're talking about a $100,000 account to trade one contract. That is a significant amount of capital to allow you to trade currencies, hold positions overnight. Okay, looking at this, 150 is a fairly round number. 150.06, we have the spill from 11. So we're at 39 right now, so 3 to 7. And it may take a 31 to get in. We'll just to see. And then 11 to 15, picking up for sell 2. We rejected prices beneath 12, so we'll make 9 to 13. Well, it's so far away, that's like impossible. 17 to 21 for buy 1, and buy 2 for 9 to 13. And it's going to hinge on the direction of the E-mini. I wonder what's going to, you sit here and you just, everybody in the weather just can't understand that pass play at the goal line. That's Seattle did. That poor coach. We know what's going to be on his tombstone. I'd be surprised if he keeps his job. Pete Carroll will keep the job, but the offensive coordinator is probably looking for work. Okay, gold, our 85, 87 held up pretty good. That's where resistance is. And there's no magic. You can see it right through here. On the buy side, we've rejected prices below 68. We're at 74, so 70 plus or minus buy 1, 65 plus or minus buy 2. On the sell side, 80, 82, sell 1, 85, 87, sell 2. Australia's move is supportive. India's move is supportive for gold. And if China comes in and adds to their banking system liquidity or through interest rate cuts or whatever, that would be supportive for gold. So gold can sell, and it's usually propelled lower by central banks. But again, bottom really probably can't fall out of it because of all the financial uncertainty going around the globe right now. I think you could make a very, very strong case right now that the world is sliding into a recession, or certainly a very tough couple of quarters right here. Okay, our 114 even is resistance and 75, so sell 1, 75 plus or minus 114, sell 2 plus or minus. On the buy side, 10 to 25. Let them get stops below the overnight session low. The euro is holding in very, very well. Then our 1275.85 for buy 2. Again, the Greek trial balloons are being floated. Naturally, our administration came out in favor of debt repudiation. The Greeks are victims. If the European Union hadn't been so generous in their borrowing and lending terms, the Greeks never would have done. They were taken advantage of by that. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing how politicians will shift gears, reassign blame, take no accountability for anything that they do. And of course, the Greeks. It was good while they could do it, and it's not so much fun when you have to pay back. Funny how that works. Okay, crude oil. It's not increased demand right now. There's an extra 1.5 million barrels a day of extra supply. A lot of that is being bought up by China. A lot will be stored above ground. Saudi Arabia just announced a $29 billion worth of goodies or benefits for their general population. All government workers get a 2-month bonus. So that's where we find ourselves right now. And Saudi Arabia is definitely feeling the pressure of lower oil prices too. Okay, the breakout came in this 50-50 area, so 50-50, 50-25. Buy 1, that's where support is. The 49.75.50 for buy 2. So my guess is we got a pretty fair chance first time down for 50-50 to hold. But there's still more supply than there is demand, and that will weigh on the market at some point. Short covering rallies are violent. They're swift. They always go farther than you think they should. And they don't last as long as the buying does, but that's where we find ourselves right now. And last but not least, Australia cuts their interest rates. A Greek deal is being talked about. Lower oil prices took the stock market lower. Higher oil prices will kick in and do it, and we've talked about that. So resistance stops above the overnight high, 29 to 31, sell 1. Today's news, factory orders is a negative. Automobile sales is a plus, so the news should split. 15 to 17, buy 1. 10 to 12, buy 2. And we may have to raise our buy up to 20 to get to test the overnight session high. So probably will be raising it. They don't have any choice. Greece doesn't have any way to pay it back. So there will be a debt extension, and at some point comes repudiation, and all of PIG's debt will be transferred to European Union taxpayers. It's the way it works. And the bankers will continue to bonus and live fat and all that other good stuff. Okay, it'll take at least 20 minutes to get everything posted. I'm going to get busy on it. See ya in a bit. Factory orders is the first piece of news. Looking for -2%. Later.